Hello everyone and welcome to Big Rock Moto. In today's video, I'm going to review the entire line of Mosko Moto Riding Apparel. Alright, so I have been testing Mosko Moto riding gear for the past about 18 months, maybe 2 years, and it's finally time for me to give my review. So what I'm going to do in today's video is, at the first part, I'll talk just a little bit about what I think the philosophy is behind the Mosko Moto range of adventure motorcycle riding gear. And then I'm going to briefly walk you through the individual pieces of kit that they have currently on their website as of February 2024 and talk about my personal experience using all this stuff over the past couple years. So before we jump in, just one thing, I would greatly appreciate it if you're going to buy any Mosko Moto luggage, which I have separate reviews on, or any of the riding gear I'm talking about in this video, please use my affiliated links, which are below in the description and the pinned comment. I would greatly appreciate that. I do get a small commission if you use those links, and it helps me continue to do this sort of independent review testing that I do here at Big Rock Moto. It's reinvested back into the channel. That's also my disclaimer at the same time. So this is not a paid review. I'm not being sponsored to do this review. Mosko Moto does not pay me money at whatsoever in terms of just to be able to wear their gear. The only way I make money is if I sell something through the link, through my specific links. I do get a very small commission, which I do reinvest back in the channel. So I did want to give you that disclaimer for full transparency. I really believe in that. If you have any questions or concerns about that, please let me know. But using those affiliate links is a great way to support this channel, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. All right, now a couple things you should understand about Mosko Moto Riding Apparel. This company was formed by some folks who wanted to create specific gear for on and off-road adventure and dual sport motorcycle riders. This gear is designed to be used with separate armor. So Mosko Moto riding gear, at least as of the time I'm filming this, they don't have pockets for integrated armor. And if you want to understand the pros and cons, the ins and outs of integrated armor versus separate armor, I just published a video about that, which I'll link here below and maybe somewhere right up here in the card. So the philosophy of Mosko Moto riding gear, and this is my interpretation, not really what they have stated on their website, a few things. One is that they believe in super high quality, durable, long-lasting, tough-wearing gear. So this is not budget gear. They design the garment to be the best that it can be, and then the price is what it is. So it's not budget gear, it's premium gear, but with that premium price tag, you're getting gear that is exceptionally functional and durable and is going to last you much longer than a lot of the cheaper gear you might find out there. The other part of Mosko Moto's philosophy is that they believe in a separate armor system. There's a lot of good reasons for this. Again, you can check out the video I just published on this subject, but everything from the fact that the armor that you wear against your skin, like a pressure suit, separate armor, it's going to stay in place better during an impact, during a crash. It also allows you to separate or decouple the riding jacket and riding pants from the impact protection. So you can peel off your hot jacket when you're trail riding in warm weather, and you have the mobility, the flexibility, and the coolness of not having to be suffering under a hot riding suit when you're riding off-road at lower speeds. That's a huge thing, and really sort of underpins the philosophy of how they've designed their gear. I think one other thing they also believe in is that they really question the logic behind riders like us, like me, and I made this mistake myself, of wearing bulky, hot, sweaty, waterproof riding gear when, depending on the climate you live in, 70 or 80% of the time, 90% of the time, in my case, it's not raining at all. So why would you have all that discomfort of wearing rain gear, especially for off-road riding at lower speeds, when you don't need weatherproofing? It doesn't make any sense. So that's also part of their philosophy. So they believe in only wearing rain gear or waterproof layers when they're actually needed, and that does make sense. One final thing I'll mention is that this is absolutely specific for on and off-road adventure and dual sport motorcycle riding. So if you're a 100% road rider doing sport touring or track riding, Mosko Moto gear is not designed for you. Although they do have some pieces like the Basilisk, which does have materials like super fabric for very good abrasion protection on asphalt. Overall, this gear is designed for the rider who is going to be spending at least 50% of their time off the highway. So keep that in mind. All right, so let's jump into the specific items. Now I want to start by talking about base layers. One of the most important things you can do for your comfort, for your moisture management, for your heat and cold management is to use high quality base layers that go next to your skin. So what Mosko Moto offers, they offer the Graph base layer, which I can confirm from having used these for the past couple of years. They are super light, breathable, they never feel hot, they're super easy to wash, they pack really small so you can take an extra one on your trip. They're a short sleeve base layer. Now, personally, I would prefer a long sleeve base layer, even for hot weather riding, just because I find it a little more comfortable to have something between my skin and my armor. So my armored jacket, it goes all the way down to my wrists, and I'd prefer to have a long sleeve base layer for that. And I'm hoping Mosko will come out with a long sleeve version of the Graph. Now they do have the Strata Merino. So the Strata Merino, they sell in the top and the bottom. This is that cooler weather. You can also wear it in warm weather too. The Merino wool has amazing properties. It doesn't smell. It doesn't, it's really good with the moisture management. It keeps you warm in the cooler weather. You can wear it as long underwear. You can wear it around camp. Really, really versatile stuff, and it's a pretty incredible material that they have there. I definitely like my Strata Merino stuff. But in really hot temperatures, I don't want to be wearing that, and I'll use the Graph, or I might use some other long sleeve base layer that I have in my collection of gear. I also like to wear a base layer pant. I don't like my armor riding up against my skin, so I'll wear like my just regular underwear, and then over that I'll wear a really thin base layer type of pant. And I'll link some options here below. Let's talk about mid layers for a second. So I have a dedicated video on the Ectotherm heated mid layer. That's my favorite overall mid layer of everything I have, just because you plug it into the bike, which is really simple, and it's like going down the highway and you feel like you're in a jacuzzi. It is really that good. Highly recommend heated mid layers if you have the budget for it. I'll link here to that separate video. I'd recommend you check that out. They also have the Jackaloft, which is kind of similar to that, to the Ectotherm. It just doesn't have the heating elements in it. There's a lot of good mid layers out there that you can use. And I also recommend that Strata Merino as potentially a mid layer as well, in case you wanted to use that. Now, this is not a video about armor systems, but I will link a few pieces of armor for upper and lower body below that I recommend, because traditionally you'd wear a base layer, then if you needed a mid layer, then you'd wear that, then you'd wear your armor, and then over your armor you'd wear a jersey and then a jacket. So I'll link some of those armor options below, but let's talk about the jerseys that Mosko Moto has. So they have a few different options. They have kind of a traditional jersey, which they have like the broadcast or the red line is different graphics. So that's more of a traditional kind of regular weight jersey, good for all around use. All right. Then they have a jersey, a lightweight summer jersey called the XT Mesh. So when you see the mesh, that is a more ventilated jersey for hot weather riding. I really love that jersey. I use that one a lot, especially in warmer weather. But even in cooler weather, I'll still use it because I might be wearing a jacket over the top of it. Now, one item that Mosko Moto has that I think is really unique that I wear all the time is called the Workhorse jersey. So their Workhorse jersey is, think of it as a burlier, heavier duty jersey. So when you're not wearing your jacket, when you're riding off-road, which I typically try not to wear my jacket unless it's really cold or raining, that's the whole point of the Mosko Moto setup. I like to wear the Workhorse over my armor because it provides a decent level of abrasion resistance for scraping by branches or falling off your bike into some rocks or sliding maybe at 30 miles an hour down a dirt or gravel road. It doesn't have abrasion resistance that you would need for high-speed asphalt pavement riding, but it does for the off-road stuff. So it is an awesome bit of kit. I highly recommend, if you were just going to buy one Mosko jersey, I think it should probably be the Workhorse, just because it offers so much more protection than other jerseys that you might have in your collection. All right, let's talk about their jacket. So the jacket is something that you're going to use over the top of the jersey, or if you skip the jersey, over the top of your armor. this is going to be something that you need when it's wet, when it's cold, when you're doing some highway sections in between the trails. So let's start with the lightest duty option they have right now, which is the Surveyor. I have a Surveyor, I have a black one, and I love that jacket. It's a great dual sport and light adventure jacket for just those cooler days, or maybe there's a little bit of inclement weather, or you just need a little bit more protection than a jersey offers. I'll wear it as I'm riding to the trail, and when I start to warm up or get on a single track, then I'll take it off and strap it on the back of my bike, or put it in my Wildcat backpack, or put it in my Mosko Moto bag. So really love the Surveyor. It is a great soft shell over jacket for dual sport and adventure. Mosko Moto also has something called the Rack. So I also own and I also love the Rack. The Rack is a fully waterproof, weatherproof layer, a relatively lightweight or mid-weight layer that you use over the top of your armor and your jersey for when you need a heavy-duty kind of windbreaker for cold, or you need that waterproof, waterproof protection when it is raining or snowing or whatever the weather's doing. So it's a layer that you can carry with you, easily roll it up, keep it in your backpack, keep it in your bag, strap it on your bike with a volet strap or a Mosko Moto strap or whatever you have. Great thing to have. So the Rack is like more for wet weather, and that Surveyor is more for like cool weather when you're not worried about the weather protection, if that makes sense. Now that leads me up to the Big Daddy. So the Basilisk is their on and off road overshell jacket for adventure and dual sport riding. The Basilisk is a pretty well-known suit in the adventure world. The cool thing about it is that it goes along with their separate armor and layering system, but it's something that you wear when you need to be windproof, when you need to be waterproof, and also you wear it on the highway when abrasion resistance is important. So if you're riding down the highway at high speed for hours on end, you want that abrasion resistance. So the Basilisk has a lot of really good vents. So you can actually use it in warm to hot weather pretty effectively as long as you're moving to keep the air flowing through. But it really excels in cooler weather, milder weather, and then in cold weather with a mid layer underneath and the armor underneath that. And the great thing about this setup is that, you know, if you're using an integrated armor setup like a traditional adventure suit, you can't take that off when you get off road and you get into lower speed and you start to get hot and work on the bike, because that's all your protection, that's all your armor and everything. With the Basilisk setup, if that's what you're using, you can take that off, especially the jacket, stow it on your bike or in your backpack, roll it up as tight as you can. Now you can ride in a jersey and armor when you're on the trail. And then when you're back on the highway, or if it starts to rain or get cold, you can put the Basilisk back on. It's a super high quality premium set of gear. The pants as well, we might as well talk about the pants too. The pants have these big vents on the thigh, which are very, very effective. I will say that sometimes they can let a little bit of water through because of that big zipper there and kind of how that's designed with the vent. But as a trade-off, you do get the good venting. So I use the jacket more often than the pant, and I'll talk about why in a second, although I do like to have both, and I do end up using both. So if you want that heavy duty, abrasion resistant, waterproof, windproof, ventilated overshell to complement the other Mosko Moto gear, you're going to be spending some more time on the road, or that weatherproofing is important, the Basilisk is some pretty incredible stuff. And of course you should be checking out their website to read all the specs, to check out the sizing, understand the specifics of it. I'm just giving you a very broad overview of how the gear works. Now let's talk about Mosko Moto pants really quick. So starting at the thinnest or most ventilated, I guess, you've got the Surveyor and you've got the Kiger. So the Surveyor is their off-road hot weather pants. So this is for enduro and single track riding, off-road riding, where you don't need a ton of abrasion resistance for the road, but you want maximum ventilation and mobility, and it's a great pant for that. Then you have the Kiger. The Kiger is what I traditionally use in hot weather because it's made of a material, and I'll put that in the text here below or show a picture of it. The material is highly abrasion resistant, so it's really good knowing that if I'm on a highway section, that if I do have a slide, I have that abrasion protection, but the pant is one giant vent. So it vents and flows through really, really well. Of course, as always, you've got to use separate armor, but it's very comfortable, it's a bit stretchy, it's mobile. It's one of the best mesh pants that I've ever used. So that's a really good pant to have if you ride a lot in hotter weather. Now that brings me to the Woodsman. The Woodsman pant is one of their best-selling products, and almost, well, I don't want to say everybody has a set of these, but these are very, very popular out there. The reason for that, the popularity, I think, is the comfort. So a lot of riding gear that you have, it just doesn't have the stretch and the mobility, right? The magic thing about the Mosko Moto gear is that it's super stretchy, and it stretches in all dimensions, and you just never feel constricted by it. So it's really good for athletic riding, for off-road riding. The Woodsman pants are not a waterproof pant. They're water resistant in certain areas, but they didn't make them waterproof because they wanted to maintain the breathability and the mobility and the stretch and the usefulness in hot weather. So the Woodsmen are probably my overall favorite motorcycle pant that I have for adventure riding out of all my gear, just because the vents work really well, the pockets are super convenient, the pants are comfortable, they look nice, they come in some really cool colorways. They're just awesome, and they work in cool weather all the way up to hot weather. So if you were just going to get one pair of Mosko Moto pants, absolutely, in my opinion, get the Woodsman pants. Now I'm looking here at the website. I don't have the Barfly pants or jacket, but that is something I'm going to be getting and testing in 2024, so we'll have to review that later on. Now since we're talking about the apparel, I also want to mention their backpacks. So I have a bunch of different hydration backpacks that I use. I always ride with a hydration pack because I am always thirsty, and I do off-road riding where I'm working and I need to rehydrate constantly. Even when I'm riding on a road trip, I still wear hydration pack. The Wildcat backpacks, I have both the 8 and the 12 liter. I think they're coming out with some bigger ones very shortly. They're the most comfortable packs I've ever used, and I've tried all the high-end packs out there from Climb and the other popular brands. I have a bunch of MSR and Camelbacks, and you name it. The Wildcat are definitely on the high end of the price range, but the comfort that the harness has is phenomenal. Then the storage, the modularity with the storage, you can open up that back part to store like a jacket or food or your camera or whatever you need to do. They've got a pocket for like goggles or glasses. They're so burly and so well built. The aesthetics are really good. The colorways are pretty cool. If you ask me like what's the best motorcycle hydration system to get or backpack, man, I'm telling you, it's definitely these Wildcats. They really are that good, and I think they are worth their high price tag. All right, well, I hope this overview was useful. I really, really hope it was. I've been really enjoying using this gear interspersed with all the other gear that I'm reviewing over the past couple years. The Mosko Moto gear is really phenomenal, and it's a pretty phenomenal group of people running this company. I happen to know quite a few of them pretty well. So anyway, I'm really super appreciative to be affiliated with them. And again, please use my links if you're going to purchase anything that I've talked about or any of their amazing luggage, which I have separate reviews on. I think that about wraps it up. So thanks so much for watching. Ride safe, and I'll see you out there.